collaboration as the key ingredient in developing technology. Why do we need to collaborate? We need to collaborate because collaboration helps us gather together, pool our resources, and be able to work on each other's strengths. Because no man is an island. No man can do it all by himself. And that is the challenge we have in this part of the country. People always want to take on all the responsibility and shine all by themselves. But if you share the responsibility, share the glory, but you get things done much better and much faster. So we collaborate because we want strengths. We collaborate because we need the resources of others. We collaborate because collaboration helps us to learn skills. If I wake up and I want to do something with this gentleman today, there are things he's going to do in a different way that I never understood. And I'm going to learn skills and absorb those skills from him. And tomorrow I'll be better at those things I couldn't do before. Also, collaboration is important because when we sell products and our customers here, we're collaborating with maybe Coca-Cola, it's going to excite them that, oh, this man I knew yesterday that was making chin-chin is now making his chin-chin with Coca-Cola. So that excitement is going to build up. It's going to leverage your brand. It's going to make them feel more important, that there's something new I'm making that I wasn't making before, and I'm making it with someone that's very important. And finally, to leverage your brand. We leverage on each other's brands by, for instance, if I collaborate with CNN today, everybody's going to hear, why am I collaborating with CNN? Because CNN is very important in their field of endeavor. Or tomorrow I say I'm collaborating with Mercedes-Benz. Everybody's going to wonder, why am I collaborating with Mercedes-Benz? So it creates a lot of excitement in our customers. In fact, collaboration makes some innovations and products possible that were simply not possible before. There are some things that just by virtue of you collaborating, you're not going to be able to do. But prior to that, there's no way you'll be able to achieve them before. Next slide. Who can collaborate when technology is concerned? Next slide. Examples of people that collaborated. In one case, you have individuals in what I call the innovation field. There were these three men who collaborated, and John Barden, William Shockley, and Walter Brattain. They all worked at what's called Bell Laboratories in the 1940s. And they invented what's called the transistor. The transistor is the basis of every single electronic device you're seeing today. Your smartphones, cameras, doorbells, name it, television, everything, there are transistors inside. Thousands, millions, in case of even smartphones and computers, just the CPU contains billions and billions of transistors. They're so tiny now, they're smaller than human hairs now, those things you're seeing. But they invented the first one, and that's the basis of all the transistor technology we're seeing. Now, because of their collaboration, their invention, the transistor, revolutionized the world we know. That's why we had the third industrial revolution. The transistor was the basis of the whole thing. And jointly, they won the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1956. So go on to the next slide. The next collaboration example is in the corporate world. Companies collaborate because they can see the benefits of those collaborations. A very important example is Hyundai. Some people say Hyundai, but the proper pronunciation is Hyundai. Those are Korean cars, and Mitsubishi. When Hyundai first started manufacturing cars, they didn't have the technology or the expertise. In fact, they were assembling Ford Cortinas from the UK. But they now went and met Mitsubishi and said, sell us the engine technology, sell us the gearbox technology. And Mitsubishi, who was a very big global player at that time, they agreed. And they bought a 10% stake in Hyundai at the time. So the first mass-produced car in Korea was the Hyundai Pony in 1975. It was based on that agreement. And subsequently, they now went a step further. And the first front-wheel drive car the Koreans produced, which is the Hyundai Excel, which is still a popular car today, was in 1985. To the extent that all the basis of Hyundai's understanding and technology in cars was because of the skills they developed from Mitsubishi. And today, Hyundai is the number 4 car maker in the world. They even surpassed Mitsubishi, that was their partner, or where they got the technology from in the first place. Another example is transnational cooperation or collaborations. You know, sometimes you're too small a player to play at the global level. So the best thing is, why not consolidate your resources, consolidate your knowledge, and work together? And it has worked wonders for all the aircraft manufacturers in Europe. You know, some of us growing up in the 60s, 70s, 80s, you know, once upon a time, the only airplane you used to see everywhere was Boeing. Boeing 707, Boeing 727, Boeing 737, and the jumbo jet 747. No other person was competing with them besides the other US manufacturers. That's McDonnell Douglas with DC-10 and Lockheed with the TriStar. Those are the only planes everywhere. But the Europeans now saw that they can't compete individually. So they collaborated and formed a big single company called Airbus in 1969. It was formed by consolidating the manufacturing facilities of Dassault of France, Daimler of Germany, Hawker Siddeley, which now became British Aerospace of the UK, and CASA of Spain. And they competed against the dominance of Boeing and McDonnell Douglas. To the extent they now came up with the Airbus A310, A320, A330, then that their big jumbo jets, the A380 and the A350, which is the next generation of passenger planes. And today, Airbus has exceeded Boeing. They are now a bigger company than Boeing. So it's just showing the basis of collaboration and where it leads to. Then governments can actually collaborate. They can collaborate in two ways. They can collaborate with you and me, the private sector, by programs that they issue. And some years ago, you remember Shell. Some of you remember Shell under Jonathan's administration. It's with programs like that. If you follow their rules, collaborate with governments, they give you a grant. You go and do your business, and you grow. Before the Shell, there are no opportunities for people to grow under those conditions. But because of those new innovations and collaborations, young people with innovative ideas could grow. That is one way of collaboration. The other way governments collaborate is with each other. In the space race, once upon a time, it was the US versus the Soviet Union. But they saw that it was a damaging race because it was sucking out all the money from the economy, and they were limited by their achievements or their goals. So they now decided, why don't all of us collaborate together? So you had what was called the International Space Station, the ISS, where 18 countries have so far collaborated, investing their different capacities and their different scientific knowledge, and have spent about $150 billion. It's the biggest collaboration program in the world ever. So if you look at that table, you can see these are space stations, different types of space stations. Some by the US, Skylab is the US, Salyut is the Soviet Union, and the extreme, Tianyong, is the Chinese one. But look at the ISS, look at how big it is. It's at least 4 or 5 times bigger than anything the other ones could do individually. So it shows you that collaboration increases scale significantly as well, and increases the know-how you can use and put it together. The ISS is far bigger than anything the other ones could do by themselves. Next slide. These are the 3 current space stations. Okay, the Mir is no longer there, but the middle one is the Chinese own. And look at the size of the ISS. It's 3 or 4 times bigger than the biggest thing the Chinese can put in the sky. And their own came 20 years after the ISS, and it's still not as big as it. So collaboration helps you to do things you could not do on your own. But because of everybody is involved, it's possible. Now, to leverage on brands, there's a company in the US called Monster. Monster makes headphones and power cables for audio equipment. It's formed by a man called Noel Lee. What they did is that they leveraged on their technology and their quality products. But how many people have heard of Monster in this room? I'm sure nobody has heard of them before. It's a relatively tiny company, but they're the biggest maker of audio jacks in the world today. They're the leader in that audio jack technology, quality audio jacks. Next slide. So Monster's first major collaboration was Beats by Dre. Everybody knows Dre, Beats headphones. Beats was the company that Dre formed with his friend, somebody Ravine, I can't remember his name right now. And they developed the headphones. The engineering and the manufacturing was provided by Monster, while Dre just provided the brand. Everybody knows Dr. Dre, but nobody knows Monster. So that is, they collaborated and brought their own value to the table. 1, popularity, 1, technical capacity. And that the brand was now endorsed by Dr. Dre, and everybody he knew in the music business, he just kept giving them, go and make this thing popular for me. Use your social media handles and everything. And now everybody knows Dre headphones. But along the line, something went wrong. The agreement between them expired, and Dre refused to renew the agreement and said, let's manufacture this thing by ourselves. Do you know why? They have gained the skill as well, just like I said with Hyundai. So they didn't need Monster anymore. And from then, the company sold even so much more that it now attracted Apple. And Apple put $3 billion on the table to buy Dre out. And Dre became the first billionaire in the hip-hop business. So that shows the power of that collaboration. Without him making those headphones, he'll be nowhere today. So later on, Noel Lee now did the same thing again, but he was more careful this time to structure the agreements that it couldn't be broken so easily. He partnered with Karl Lagerfeld, the owner of Chanel, and they produced the Chanel headphones. The Chanel headphones are just leveraging on the popularity of the Chanel brand. It's a popular fashion brand. I'm sure all the ladies in the house, they know Chanel. Abby? Thank you. So the Chanel headphones, if you look at the picture there, very unique and special, very luxurious looking. They cost $7,500 just for those headphones and that pouch. Meanwhile, your typical headphones that are expensive cost between $100 and $500. So you can see it's like how many times, factors or so many times more expensive. But the minute it went on the internet that Chanel is making headphones, nobody cared about Monster. It's Chanel they were looking at. They sold out. It was very popular on Instagram, on Facebook. It went haywire. And today, Monster is still making those headphones because of that collaboration. So you can see their factories are working at full blast, and Chanel is also benefiting from making audio products, which they were not making before. Okay, now let's come back to Nigeria, Obodo Nigeria, and see what are the issues with collaboration. The typical Nigerian landscape is fraught with failed collaborations, and there are many reasons why. You see, the business may be successful once you collaborate with somebody, but there are a lot of issues that come up. Number one issue is ego. Who is going to be the leader? Who should be the boss? It's always a problem in Nigeria. They start fighting because of that. In fact, sometimes fraud comes up because maybe the company is making money. Someone starts stealing from the company. And betrayals, that one person will throw the other person under the bus just to get ahead. There are a lot of examples, but I don't want to go into that. But because of that, a lot of people in Nigeria are afraid of collaboration. In fact, even if I do a survey now in this room, I'm sure 70% of you say, no, partnership, I'm not going to do that. It's wahala. I don't want, and everything. But I'm just telling you that even though there are challenges, don't be afraid. Why? Because there are also successful collaborations. Who has heard of Echo Hospital in Lagos? Echo doesn't mean Lagos Hospital. It means EKO. MLE, Kuku, and Obiora. Three doctor friends in school. Set up one of the biggest hospitals in Lagos, and it's still flourishing till today. I'm sure one or two of them has passed away, I'm sure. Oando. You know, Oando was a collaboration of friends, lawyers, who joined together and formed one of the biggest oil companies in Nigeria. The Tinubus, GT Okoloko, and all the rest of them. And you've heard of Sahara Energy. It's also a collaboration of some young men in the 90s, and they're one of the biggest oil importers in Nigeria, of refined products, that is. So it shows that collaboration works in Nigeria. And it doesn't work on a small scale, it works in national and international business, because all those businesses are recognized internationally. So why do we need to collaborate? Number one, no man is an island. Nobody knows this all. Leverage on other people's strengths and keep your vision going. So if you have your vision, but you don't know how to take it to the next step, find people that know it, or find people that have a strength in that, attach them to yourself, but keep the vision going. You that has the basic idea, you're the visionary, don't let your vision die. Don't let your dreams die. Even if you know it, that's maybe you know how to do this and this and this, and you decide, I'm going to do everything by myself. There's a problem with that. Number one, you overstretch yourself physically. You will get tired. And again, you're wasting time. Because the thing that 20 people can do in 1 hour, you by yourself cannot do it in 5 days. So your invention or your dream or your product will take the next 5 years. Meanwhile, if you did it as a collaboration, it will probably take 6 months. No, go back, please. Let me just finish that. Share in the glory of that big thing instead of hoarding the information and working it out by yourself. We need to also learn how to take humility. We need to be more humble. Don't want to be the one that everybody's talking about. Let them talk about your team, not about you. It's very important. And finally, you can finish one project faster if you have more able hands on board than if you do everything by yourself. And who knows, if you finish that first project, you can actually go into another idea, collaborate, another idea, collaborate. So you can do more in your lifetime. The example I'm going to use to buttress why you need to collaborate is the broom. I wanted to buy a broom and come here today, but somehow I forgot. And I said, let me use this picture and do it. If I take a single broomstick, just one single broomstick, and say I'm going to sweep this place, of course I'll break my back. And for the next 4 days, you still see me here struggling to sweep this place. But if I take several broomsticks, 100 of them, tie them all together. Within 3 minutes, I've swept this whole room. So doesn't it show that joining together is the solution? Even in nature, the broomstick has shown us, and the broomstick doesn't have a brain. So why not us? Why don't we collaborate? So in conclusion, for you to have great technology, a working product, because ultimately, technology is trying to create a working product or a service, please, please, please learn to collaborate or find the collaborations. Think of the broom. In technical functions, bring people who are experts and talented in other areas. It's not just in the technical areas, in the back office areas. If you have someone that is great at marketing, collaborate with him. You have someone that's great at law, collaborate with him. Share the glory, but make sure that your dream goes to the highest heights. Make sure that all of you in that collaboration, you're on the same page, and make sure that it works well. Then even if you're participating in a government grant, take it very seriously. And know that every technology in the world, if you look at it, is formed by collaborations. It's not any one person doing it by themselves. So please, if you want to be the next big thing, go out there with your dream and collaborate so you can do it better. Thank you and God bless.